I've been screaming about this since last year on October 5, 2023, when Biden came out and was like, that's right, Jack, I'm the border president now. We're going to build that wall. And every time I talk to like people that are outside of my orbit, like people that aren't, immediately locked into this stuff, whether they're like journalists in reputable mainstream outlets, for example, I'm always shocked that like they are also in agreement with me on this stuff. Like, because maybe I watch too much mainstream media, mainstream press, and it makes me feel as though like there are a lot of Americans who are like, no, we want this reasonable, moderate shit. And it's like, no, I think a lot of people are genuinely confused why Kamala is like, yeah, I'm going to be the border person. I'm going to be the big border. I'm going to be the big border czar. I'm going to do it. How are we going to survive another 4 years of Trump? I'm terrified of it. I don't fucking know. Do you like her answer to Gaza or how she's different than Biden law? Yeah, her answer to Gaza was ass. It was so bad. She was struggling not to say build a wall. She did say it, though. That's the worst part. She did say it. She ended up dancing around it and then arriving at it. Like, it was crazy. It was shocking. Anyway, is Harris no longer slated to go on Rogan? What happened? That's a massive flub, in my opinion. That's a genuine fucking L if she said no to that, because Joe Rogan, for all of its faults, for all of his fucking faults, Joe Rogan absolutely is like a right-wing guy. We know this already, but he literally will always glaze whoever is he's interviewing. Okay. He is the most agreeable person. He is the most agreeable person on the planet. If you could have a fucking Maoist rebel militia leader and Joe would be like, yeah, the third world does need to rise up against their masters. I think the unequal exchange that's occurring in the third world is completely unacceptable. And they are ripe for revolutionary sentiment over there. Like it doesn't matter. Doesn't fucking matter. With the exception of COVID, okay? With the exception of COVID, or if someone is like anti-pot smoking or whatever, like he will always agree with you, okay? Kamala Harris could get Joe Rogan to think that it's a brilliant idea to give $50,000 in tax cuts for small businesses, okay? Joe Rogan would be like, oh, yeah. Well, have you seen this video of an ape tearing off someone's arms? Like, that's what he would do. So abso-fucking-lutely, she should have done that interview. I don't know why she said no to it. I hope she does do the interview, because I'm like on board. I'm on board with the fucking what do you call it? I'm on board with the content. I'm on the content train. Get Claudia De La Cruz on Joe Rogan. Yeah, PSL voters, rise up, dude. I swear to God, Joe Rogan be like, PSL, pumpkin spice latte. I like that. Party for Socialism and Liberation. I think I'm on board with that. I like liberation. Socialism's kind of scary, but you brought forward really good talking points here, I think. Joe Rogan and Theo are the two of the least confrontational right-wing podcasts. I wouldn't even put Theo on the right-wing orbit, to be honest. You could have a Houthi pirate and Joe would be like, cool dude, want some weed? Oh, for sure. He'd be like, oh, you guys... Joe Rogan interviews like an actual Houthi, not the fucking Yemeni like Rashid, but like an actual fucking straight up Ansar Allah like militant. He'd be like, so I heard you guys do this thing called Kat. What's that about? Yeah, have you brought over some Kat? Would you like to try some elk meat? He would be like, you chew Kat? What is that? I want to try it. Have you ever done DMT? Joe Rogan interviews IRGC member. Yeah, he'd be like, do you want DMT? Dude, if you went on a trip, if you did a DMT trip, you'd go crazy. You would drop this Ayatollah stuff, like, I think. Anyway, Harris courts moderate and independent voters at town hall. Okay, so this was supposed to be the last debate. But of course, this was supposed to be the last debate, but it didn't happen because Trump fucking, chickened out, which is really sad.
Town hall in the Philly suburbs, Vice President Harris tried to appeal to persuadable voters, and she was pressed on her positions on immigration, the war in Gaza, and also grocery prices. Weijia Zhang is in Philadelphia.
Every single day, bro, is the Lulu. Wait, what? I'm not the Lulu. Dog, look at how many days of the week I stream, and you will recognize that, yes, I cover news and commentary, news, politics in general, every single day. That's true. Seeing your reactions, you are doing way better than people who do less hours. What?
Philadelphia for us. Weijia, good to see you. Good morning.
Good morning, Tony. Good morning to everybody. The Harris campaign tells us they believe that 10% of battleground voters are still up for grabs, including right here in Pennsylvania. At that town hall, the vice president took questions directly from several of those voters who say they're not convinced who to choose. In an appeal to undecided voters, Vice President Harris vowed to bring change to the country.
My administration will not be a continuation of the Biden administration. I bring to this role my own ideas and my own experience.
But at times, Harris struggled to provide specifics when asked about policy.
So my question is concerning groceries. What would you do to bring prices down for Americans?
We will have a national ban on price gouging. There are a number of issues that we need to address in terms of bringing down the cost of living.
What would you do to ensure not another Palestinian dies due to bombs being funded by U.S. tax dollars?
Far too many innocent Palestinian civilians have been killed. It's unconscionable.
Harris was pressed on why she now supports a border wall she once ridiculed as stupid.
Let's talk about that.
That was a really funny moment where she was not even like pressed really, but like one additional question caused her to basically be like, well, sometimes some ideas are good. Okay, then why did you call us stupid in 2018? And now you're like pushing for it, which is really interesting that the media has basically taken their time, their sweet ass time to arrive at this point. I've been saying this since Biden unveiled his, border wall package. That was last year on October 5. I've been screaming about this since last year on October 5, 2023. When Biden came out and was like, that's right, Jack, I'm the border president now. We're going to build that wall. It's just like that level of flip-flopping is so crazy to me because you have changed fundamentally what you believe. If you say the border wall is stupid in 2018, because it is fucking stupid, the underlying principles behind you assuming that the border wall is stupid is that we are being unnecessarily fucking cruel and using an antiquated mechanism to stop the flow of migration coming into this country instead of dealing with the processing issue and humanizing migrants. That's what the Democrats are supposed to be saying. That's what the Democrats have kind of said, at least my entire life. They've been like, we are a nation of immigrants. That's what they used to say. And usually the counter to that is, oh, well, you want unlimited migration because you want to like enslave these migrants. It's an economic problem. And the answer to that is always still, well, then process them, document them, allow them to participate in the labor force alongside the rest of the American working class, allow them to unionize, allow them to take a larger piece of the puzzle, a larger piece of the profits. So for me, at least there was always a push and pull, and I used to yell. At the push and pull, like Obama is the deporter in chief, but at least he got the DACA thing, right? Like that, there was a push, he deported a lot, but there was a pull. You got some concessions, right? I was frustrated with that, but like that was the way the Democrats used to operate. Not anymore. Now they're just all push, no pull. They're like, yeah, we're doing the border wall. What the fuck are we doing? They have completely conceded on the false notion born out of right-wing panic that immigrants constitute a national security threat. That is an insane thing to say. That is an insane thing to get on board with. And that is the reason why she looks like she's fucking flip-flopping on this, because she is flip-flopping.
Donald Trump and that border wall. So remember, Donald Trump said Mexico would.
Kamala's between a rock and a hard place. Who she's supposed to coordinate the elections? Progressives at worst won't vote at all. Never for Trump. Center-right Republicans don't like Trump and want a reason to vote for Kamala. Yeah, that's really dumb, my friend, because that's really dumb. You want to know why it's really dumb? Because Kamala and Joe Biden before Kamala has successfully gotten the Never Trump constituency. There's a way to activate them. Pick apart the things that they're mad about. They're mad at Donald Trump because Donald Trump is crazy. They're mad at Donald Trump because Donald Trump has made their relatives insane. They're mad at Donald Trump because Donald Trump is brash. He's rude. He says unhinged shit. You can say all of that and be like, yeah, you're not going to vote for Donald Trump. You don't have to make legislative concessions to the right on key issues that are supposed to separate you from the Republican Party. Because when you do that, you're hemorrhaging your base of support. Now, I'll never say that the Democrats don't have a hard electoral map. They do. It's designed against them, okay? In this country, land does vote, right? Oh my God, dude, shut up. Jesus Christ, 15-month subscriber. Holy fuck, dude. Ay. Oh, he's just like spamming over and over again. Can you tell your merch company to work with the USPS instead of FedEx? They're not unionized. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on there. I'm sure they use both, okay? Shut the fuck up. Holy shit. I have no way of changing this shit, okay? Calm down. Fuck. We are fucking 13 days out from an election where we got like Adolf Hitler, but zesty, going up against the lighter version of that, okay? And you're over here being like, customer support! Customer support about your merch shipping! It hasn't even come out yet! Shut the fuck up! God damn! He's lost his dang mind. I know a Reddit post is coming soon. New hater unlocked. I fucking hate this guy. If your merchandise is from a unionized shop, but it's like not ethically sourced cotton, I think you really need to change that. How can I know that the yarn being used is actually being collected from sheep that have been kissed every night before they go to sleep? If it's not the case, I am going to fucking kill you. This is my one issue. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. The map is only hard for them because they let the Republicans make it. I mean, there is truth to that, but like ultimately, listen. Ultimately, land does vote. That's just the reality, okay? That's the way the Electoral College is designed. Like it, hate it, doesn't matter. That's a big L for the Democrats to begin with, okay? And then the other L is that the Democrats do have to hold on to a diverse coalition of voters. A diverse coalition of voters that have very different things that they care about. They have to literally target every single one without hemorrhaging the other, right? It's a balancing act. I understand that, which is why when I see a gimme, like with the Gaza stuff, it's the easiest thing to do, right? It's the easiest thing to do. Like when you have something that is going to improve enthusiasm without any sort of like repercussions, without any sort of people being like, I'm no longer voting for you, especially with like significant margins, like you have to take it. That's one issue, however. Another thing is I am fearful, okay? I do not want Donald Trump to win this election, and I am fearful that the Democratic Party's consistent message, their method, focusing on the white suburban voter to try to take them away from Donald Trump and bring them into the Democratic Party, is going to cause genuine hemorrhaging on the other constituencies that they fucking need to win, that they are taking for granted. Okay? Hassan, talk about something else. Yeah, dude, you're right. 13 days out from the election. Don't talk about the upcoming fucking election. Talk about something else.
Pay for it? Come on. They didn't.
But you're agreeing to a
come
bill
on.
that would earmark $650 million to continue building that wall.
I pledge that I am going to bring forward that bipartisan bill to further strengthen and secure our border.
CNN's town hall.
Yeah. She even turned around and fucking said something like, can you talk more about shipping and handling? I'm going to ship and handle your ass as I package you on a fucking one-way ticket to the sun, okay? Dems are turning into the new Republican Party. People aren't going to vote for that and will desperately look for a more progressive party that doesn't exist, really, unfortunately. Yeah. There is no, like, serious fucking outsider here. And I don't even know if one can even exist with, like, the way that the duopoly currently works. So, it is frustrating. It is very, very, very frustrating. I like that the Democrats a couple of years ago were like, we want a strong Republican Party. And then they were like, you know what? The Republicans are too stupid and too fucking, they're too stupid and too racist to, like, build a strong Republican Party. So we'll be the strong Republican Party. It's great.
It's held in Delaware County, 25 miles outside of Philadelphia. The campaign says it represents former GOP strongholds that could turn blue, where they are focused on finding independents and moderate Republicans. Back in the city, volunteers are canvassing Philly.
Voters demand legit concentration camps, kind of? No. Okay? No, that is not true. There are voters who want it, but they don't know what it looks like. That is the major reason. There's two problems with voters, with American voters and what they poll on, okay? I saw the Axios reporting on this. 47% of Americans would not, 47% of Americans would want a militarized concentration camp for immigrants. That's what they said. 22% of Democrats, 47% of independents, and like 80% of Republicans want this, right? And I'm telling you right now, they do not understand what it would look like if this happened. They do not understand that they would not like it. I remember when Donald Trump was trying to fucking attack the Dreamers. People hated it. He had to back away from that. I remember a time when the Trump administration was like, we are going to do child separation as a deterrence policy at the border. We're going to put kids in concentration camps for the crime of crossing this fucking border. People did not like that. Okay? Americans do not understand what the policies that they're advocating for look like in practice. You have to recognize that reality. There's polling done on this as well, okay? Especially with the Republican Party. Republican voters notoriously do not understand what the impact of the legislation that they're voting for. When faced with the direct consequences, we have to find this study. It's such an informative study. I need to fucking show you this study. I don't know if a chatter can find it for me right now. I don't know if I can pull it right now, but it's such a good and instructive study for you to comprehend like how American politics works. The example, one of the best examples you can point to is like abortion. Obviously, many Republicans who voted for Republicans and didn't think that like abortion would ever get taken away, or even thought that it would be good if they criminalized abortions, have now changed their minds on this. Why have they changed their minds on this? Because they never thought of the repercussions. Okay? They never thought of the repercussions. They never thought of like how this might actually harm them somehow if their daughter was in need of a medical procedure like this. And I think that on the issue of immigration, this is another glaringly obvious example where people think they want mass deportations and concentration camps, but if it happens, they're going to be like, oh my God, this is actually kind of fucked up. This happens very frequently. Okay? This happens very frequently. Now, that's one aspect of this. Okay? People do not understand the impact of the legislation that they're advocating for. When faced with the actual impact of the legislation that they're advocating for, they go, oh, that's not what's going to happen. Come on. They fantasize about a completely alternative way that this is going to unfold in a way that actually is positive for them. Okay? I don't know if this was the one. Republicans don't know anything about their party. That's very bad for American democracy. Denying people health insurance because of pre-existing conditions is both unconscionably cruel and despised by voters. As a result, Republicans will routinely lie about their position on this issue. The most outrageous instance of this is when former Senator Cory Gardner cut an ad with his mom, a cancer survivor, saying he was fighting to protect those with pre-existing conditions. There are certainly efforts to fact check, but as this result suggests, the effects of these efforts may be limited. Okay? If Republicans were full tilt, and if Republicans were, unimaginably anti-immigrant, then, like, if they were across the board or if they were across the board, like, for certain policies, they would not vote against those policies when it is presented to them in clear-cut, direct ballot measures that they vote for. Okay? You have to understand this. It is not surprising. Is it not shocking to you that Republicans in deep red states, even in Ohio or Kansas, Kentucky, will vote to restore abortion protections? But they vote for Republicans that end up taking away abortion access from them? People are very stupid. So that's one side of this, okay? That's one side of this. The other side of this is that those exact same polls also suggest that by the same fucking numbers usually, okay, almost the same. It's like 60% want mass deportations. And then when you ask that very same fucking audience, how do you feel about offering conditional pathways to citizenship for undocumented migrants that have been living on U.S. soil without doing crimes or whatever? They then say, oh yeah, I want that by the same fucking margins. Okay? So how does that work? How does that work? Americans do not understand that their belief structure is directly at odds, okay? It is directly at odds with one another. That's it. So in an environment like that, you have to recognize that if one party is at the very least launching a strong counter message against the unimaginably racist and cruel policies that the Republicans are advocating for, and show exactly how this would materialize and exactly how harmful that would be for them, both from an economic standpoint and also from the humanity of it all, or the inhumanity rather, if you suddenly had BORTAC units in your fucking neighborhood going door to door, arresting whoever the fuck is like perceived as Latino, okay? Americans would very quickly recognize, okay, maybe this is not the best idea. I don't want this. But Democrats have not done counter messaging on this front. So, of course, here we are. The Immigration Hub argued when provided a choice, voters overwhelmingly reject, only 39 in favor, the trademark Trump mass deportation policy that would result in American families across the nation torn apart. The article claimed when framed as a choice, voters prefer a pathway to citizenship over mass deportation by a large margin. Providing a pathway to citizenship remains far more popular approach to handling undocumented immigrants. The piece also cited data from the Pew Research showing that 59% of voters believe that undocumented immigrants should be allowed to stay in the country legally if certain requirements are met, versus 41% who say they should not be able to stay in the country legally. The Hub also claimed that their internal polling shows that when voters are giving specifics about who would be deported, they prefer allowing people to stay over being deported by overwhelming numbers. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's so shocking to me. It's not shocking to me at all because I look at the fucking data. American Immigration Council's Aaron Reichlin-Melnick specifically responded to Axios polling saying that enforcement finding is directly contradicted by other questions in the poll. Axios wrote that the survey still found that Americans strongly support immigration as long as it's lawful, with 58% of respondents saying they support expanding legal pathways for orderly immigration. Reichlin-Melnick also noted decades of polling on this in general show that people want a balanced path to a legal status plus more enforcement, not mass deportations. In another post, Reichlin-Melnick noted that when you explain to people what mass deportation is and propose a path to legal status as an alternative, mass deportation is extremely unpopular. Oh my God, who could have thought? Who has been saying this for years? That's crazy. Me, motherfucker, I've been saying this. I've been screaming this on the fucking rooftops. Shocking. Speaking of which, did you see this? Let's take a poll. A grandma is undocumented. She's lived in the USA 30 years, not even a ticket. She has 4 kids, all American born, as are her 12 grandkids. Kick in her door in the middle of the night, put her in handcuffs, and send her and her kids back to where she was born, and do it on camera as a warning to anyone who thinks they can violate the sovereignty of my country without consequences. Additionally, locate and deport all the people advocating she stay. Now, this is on Twitter, where you can be a Nazi out and about, as this guy is, okay? Say this in the real world. Say this out in the real world, and people will beat your ass, okay? You can have the most rugged, okay? You can have the most rugged Idaho cattle rancher in front of you, and he hears this fucking dipshit say this, they'll beat his ass, okay? They'll be like, what the fuck are you saying? I promise you. Says you? It's not a says you moment. It's reality. You want to know why it's reality? You want to know why it's reality? We know it's reality. All of the Haitians are eating cats and dogs. Shit popped off on Twitter. Why? Because everyone is jerking off the fucking 14 words over here on this fucking platform. When Trump did it on the main stage, Americans laughed at him. They thought it was gross. Republicans thought it was insane that he was saying that. Republicans. There's a big difference between what pops off on Twitter, Elon Musk's very own personal fucking Nazi forum, versus the way that 60 million Americans react to it on the national stage when the fucking presidential candidate is saying it. Okay? Good luck.